New this morning on Local 6 today, a late-night fire breaks out at a home where officials say an elderly man was inside. We'll take you to the scene of a fortunate escape. Plus, a new generation of drug dealers are catching authorities' attention in our area. Law enforcement officers are finding senior citizens in the act. What's behind the disturbing trend? And are you plugged in for school? A brand new school year is just around the corner, but good news for students, your cell phones may get to stay on during classes. Local 6 today starts right now.
WPSD Local 6, your breaking news and weather authority. This is Local 6 today in high definition.
Good morning and thanks for starting your day with us. And here's a look at what's new this morning. WFIE-TV, that's an NBC affiliate in Evansville, Indiana, reports emergency officials in Gallatin County, Illinois, are taking part in a water rescue on the Ohio River this morning. Right now, very few details have been released on this situation that's reported to be happening near Old Shawneetown. But Gallatin County Dispatch did tell us that a 911 call did come in from Saline County and that they had been talking back and forth throughout the morning. And we will continue to follow this story throughout the morning and bring you any new information as it becomes available. And an elderly man is left with some burns this morning after a fire broke out at his home, in Graves County, Kentucky. Fire officials got a call to the fire on State Route 1241 in Hickory around 11 last night. Multiple crews remained on the scene working against the flames until the early hours this morning, but they say the odds fortunately were in their hands and the homeowners.
On arrival, we had heavy flames and smoke in the attic, which made it harder to access. The victim was actually home by himself. He was able to get out, luckily with him having smoke detectors.
It's good to know the man in that house was okay, and the Red Cross was on the site and is helping out that elderly man for the time being. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but officials say it doesn't appear to be suspicious. And moving on to what's happening now, local family members are in disbelief this morning. Their grandmother's in jail in connection to drug dealing.
I never thought that the day would come when I would be sitting here and watching a story about my mother on the news, about being a drug trafficker.
Marshall County deputies say 71-year-old Doris Nick sold pain pills to 70-year-old Eugene Willis, who took some and then planned to sell the rest of them later. Nick's family members say their grandmother was only trying to make ends meet because her Social Security income just wasn't enough, and deputies say that investigation is ongoing. The Marshall County chief deputy says he's seeing more and more senior citizens involved in drug deals, and earlier this week, deputies arrested 2 other senior citizens on drug trafficking charges. And a group of kids at an Illinois church is asking for those who ripped apart their hard work to come forward. The youth group at North Benton Baptist Church in Benton, Illinois, planted this garden earlier this year. They were handing out vegetables to people in need, and they were also serving the produce at meetings on Wednesday nights. But earlier this week, vandals trashed the garden, and students want those responsible to come forward.
I don't expect them to, but if they ever did, I'd forgive them openly.
The church did file a police report with Benton, Illinois police. The youth group plans to plant the garden again next year, but also install a security camera this time. And turning to what's happening next, when classes start in Graves County next Monday, students can expect a high-tech school year. This year, high school students are encouraged to BYOD, bring your own device. Teachers gathered yesterday to train on how to use technology in their lessons. They also talked about how to manage all of the assignments submitted in different ways to make sure students stay focused in class.
Sometimes we'll just have devices down, and they put it face down on their desk, and then you know that they're not on that, and they are giving me their attention for things that we're not using the devices for.
For students who don't bring their own devices into school, more than 600 new computers have been set up in the high school for students to use, and teachers say students can also share devices when necessary.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Dozens of people in Mexico are celebrating the country's sandwich in a big way. They crafted a Mexican sandwich big enough to feed hundreds of people. It's 173 feet long. The sandwich is the biggest sandwich ever made in Latin America. It features thousands of pieces of bread, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, mixed with more than 70 other ingredients, including mayo and mustard. I think I saw some avocados there. And for us here in the U.S., get your bread, peanut butter, and jelly ready. August is National Sandwich Month. A rabbi allegedly created the first sandwich during Passover celebrations more than 2,000 years ago. Back then, a sandwich was just bitter herbs between two pieces of matzah. It has obviously evolved a lot since then. One of my favorite foods. Well, still ahead, remembering a hero. Another victim at the mass theater shooting in Colorado will be laid to rest this week. Witnesses say he took a bullet on behalf of someone else, but why his family members and his friends say he was a hero before the tragedy. Remember, you're watching WPSD Local 6 Today.
Your breaking news and weather authority with Marissa Hollowed and Weather Authority John Champion. You're watching Local 6 Today in high definition.
Looking ahead this morning, a public viewing is scheduled for this evening for a Navy veteran who lost his life at the Colorado theater shooting. Jonathan Blunks was killed in the Aurora movie theater rampage while protecting another person. His body was taken to a Reno, Nevada mortuary on Friday, accompanied by the Patriot Guard riders. A burial is planned for tomorrow. Excuse me. And Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney is back to campaigning in the U.S. after a week-long trip to Europe. It did get some negative attention. First, he offended Brits by questioning their readiness and excitement surrounding the Olympic Games, and then a comment in Israel offended Israelis and Palestinians. He also had to apologize to reporters in Poland after a spokesman of his told them to, quote, shove it. Romney is expected to visit several places in Colorado today. Meanwhile, President Obama will campaign in Orlando, Florida, and Leesburg, Virginia. And coming up in the Buzz this morning, an update on a story we told you about yesterday. It looks like Cuba Gooding Jr. owes someone a huge apology. Plus, two British royals top a global list, and for the Duchess of Cambridge, this is her second year in a row. What they're doing best, that's coming up next in your entertainment headlines. And now for today's Wake Up Music, here's Top of the World by the Cataracts.
To the top of the world.
In the Buzz this morning, Cuba Gooding Jr. seems to be off the hook. The bartender who says the actor shoved her dropped charges against him. Gooding was wanted on a battery charge after allegedly pushing the bartender twice Tuesday at a bar in New Orleans. The bartender says Gooding became irate when fans asked him to pose for pictures, and she was just trying to calm him down. The bar says it's investigating the incident. And the romance between Twilight stars Kristen Stewart and Rob Pattinson is over, but the producers of the Twilight franchise aren't letting that affect the promotion of the final film. Summit Entertainment says it's moving full steam ahead and looking forward to the November opening of Breaking Dawn Part 2. Meanwhile, Pattinson is scheduled to make his first public appearance since the cheating scandal. He's expected to show up at the premiere of his latest film, Cosmopolis, later this month. And Vanity Fair is out with its latest list of the best dressed celebrities in the world, and the top award goes to the Duchess of Cambridge. That's for a second year in a row. Kate Middleton is recognized for wearing a mix of designer fashions and lower-end pieces, and always looking great. Alicia Keys and actress Jessica Chastain also made the cut. The best dressed men include Prince Harry, Jay-Z, and Patriots quarterback Tom Brady. And Frank Sinatra's old place could be yours. The penthouse apartment in New York City is up for sale. Yes, you could eat where the chairman of the board once held court. The entrance even has a photo of Sinatra. They say it's the same one he hung in the same spot. The 3,200 square foot apartment is renovated and modernized and has a great view of the East River. The asking price, just a simple $7.7 million, but you do get an extra 2,000 additional square feet on 2 terraces, plus probably some good stories to tell your guests. And now to our 2012 Olympics coverage. Women are showing their support for the U.S. Olympic team in flashy and fashionable ways. The decorations come in red, white, and blue, and of course Olympic gold, and it's all on their fingertips. NBC's Mola Lanky reports.
You said it, girlfriend.
I love when the guys do it. That's
know.
really Olympic spirit when the guys do it.
And I'm pretty sure one of our founding fathers, I forget which, told Betsy Ross when she was sewing the flag, you know, someday people will wear that on their toes.
Yes, they did. She did. Anyway.
It's time for our question of the day. With many of you going back to school shopping or about to do that, you may be keeping a close watch on what kind of clothes your kids are picking out.
But it's no longer just the kids that are under watch. School districts across the nation are cracking down on teachers as well, teacher apparel.
Here are some of the examples. The guidelines target tattoos, excessive piercings, jeans, and tank top straps.
And that brings us to our question of the day. Do you think teachers should have to abide by a strict dress code? And are there certain articles of clothing that you think should be banned? We want you to join the conversation on our Facebook fan page, and we'll share your thoughts throughout the morning. And we, of course, want teacher thoughts this morning because they're the ones this is directed toward.
All right, thanks so much. Well, during the heat wave, a bottle of water, a glass of water, it's likely to be your best friend. And for a thirsty elephant, any kind of water will do, including pool water. Right now, the time is 4:53. You're watching Local 6 Today. All right, thanks, John. Well, pool parties, they're a great way to beat the heat. And the downside, though, to having any kind of party is some parties, they have party crashers. And this one happens to be an elephant that stops by an outdoor pool. It dips its trunk inside the water and begins taking some big gulps here. It's helping itself to pool water, and meanwhile, two people inside of the pool at the time are just watching the whole thing in amazement, and they're probably nervous that the elephant might jump in to join them too. The person who shot this video says the shot wasn't zoomed in at all. It was shot at an actual distance, so they were brave getting up nice and close there.
I guess that happened in Africa or India or someplace where they have elephants.
Where they would just waltz
right
up to
out
a
in the open
pool,
like that.
I guess.
Yeah, that would be kind of scary.
We had the shark doing flips the other day, too. The animals are going crazy around water.
Talented animals.